Hey everyone, Michael Anthony here. Van Halen, Chickenfoot, Sammy in the Circle. But anyway, you're listening to the only podcast that is dedicated to breaking down the entire Van Halen catalog one track at a time. And the podcast will rock. Ow!
Hello, baby!
What is up, all you rockers, rockettes, and everything in between? Thank you so much for joining us for a new edition of And the Podcast Will Rock. Welcome back, everybody. If it's your first time here, welcome. And we are the show that dives into the catalog and discography of one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, Van Halen. And we do it one track at a time. I am your co-host, Mark Kamier. With me, as always, Corey Morissette. Corey, how's the weather?
Cold, snowy. You'll have to forget. And I just survived a 2-hour podcast with Chaz Charles. So all my material went on that show. You're getting the leftovers here tonight. I really need a good wheel spin tonight here. I also need a good friend. I knew I was doing the whole Rush Rash thing with Chaz, our good buddy, earlier tonight, and I knew that was going to be like a 2-hour marathon. So I said, geez, I need a ringer. We need to bring somebody in here. And Mark Kamier, why don't you introduce our special guest here tonight?
Well, it's always good to have nice friends join you for a conversation of a band that you like, and there's no one better because this is one of our early sort of camaraderie, friend making in this process of joining the podcasting network and starting this journey. And you know him, you love him from the SeanGeek FastFret Podcast. Please welcome back to the show, Sean McGinnity. After all this time, welcome, my dude.
It's been a while. It's been a little while.
With just us, it's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how's everybody doing out there?
Is it as cold in Manitoba? Is it as cold in Manitoba as it is in Saskatchewan?
We had a break today. It started to warm up a little bit. Some of the snow is actually melting a little bit, so we're getting a little better. But it was cold on Halloween. Very cold on Halloween. The kids, I don't know, the kids didn't feel the cold, but I did.
It finally October decided to show its head over here right at the last minute, literally the last day, because yes, we too had a cold Halloween, but I won't compare the temperatures because I'm sure what we are feeling right now is probably a springtime for you northerners, so I won't even go there. No snow, but still quite frosty, quite cold. I'm not a fan, but it's October and now it's November. So I hope you all had a wonderful Halloween, a blessed Samhain to you all. But now it's time to get into what you really came here for. And you came here for some Van Halen talk. Not only that, you came here for some Van Halen news, if such Van Halen news exists. Corey Morissette, what say you? What say the Van Halen news desk, boys?
Well, I tell you, we've been perusing the Van Halen news desk as we do every week. We suggest everybody go check them out, www.vhnd.com. Get all your Van Halen news, including some articles written by our good friend Eric Senich, and he posted one the other day, a little snippet of an interview with Sammy Hagar. And he was just kind of talking about the work hard, play hard Van Halen years. And there was an interview he was doing with Fox News Digital, but Eric clipped out a few of the highlights where Sammy was kind of talking bittersweetly about, how great 5150 OU812 was. For Unlawful, it was a little different time for him because he was going through that divorce and his ex-wife had a little bit of a breakdown and stuff. Then he gets into the balance years and how things were kind of unpleasant, but he was just kind of wistfully speaking about all the good times he had with the Van Halen boys back in the day. And unfortunately, he's alluded to a few different times. He doesn't talk to Alex anymore. He's reached out a couple times. Alex hasn't reciprocated. So that relationship isn't around anymore. I think he was able to kind of make peace with that before he passed, which is a good thing. But it was just kind of a sad little interview of Sammy just kind of wistfully looking back at the party days of Van Halen and how much fun they had. So that's on the Van Halen news desk.
I said they say that tends to happen the older you get, and let's remind you that Sammy Hagar is no spring chicken anymore. He still tours like he is, but which that's a credit to him. But he's getting up there in years. Yeah, we all get wistful as we get older. But you're right. That's a sad notion that he can't get Alex to talk to him. It is nice to know that, or at least to hear that he made peace with Eddie, but. What are you going to do? Maybe a little bit more time needs to pass for him. I don't know how much more time is left, but maybe some time. Time heals all wounds eventually.
I think he's thinking back to that era because the Collection 2 came out a few weeks back. All the remastered versions of the Hagar albums on vinyl, CD, and streaming. I've been listening to him on streaming quite a bit. I haven't got my vinyl copy yet, though. I'm heading up to Saskatoon in 12 days to go see Kiss. And Kevin Brown, I think, he's going to take me to his record store, and hopefully I can get a copy of the Collection 2 when I'm up there. But I'm very much looking forward to it. I've been enjoying the remasters quite a bit. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I can't hear a difference. Well, if really listen, there is a difference. They do sound better. Balance and For Unlawful sounded great anyway, so not a ton of difference there. But I noticed the real difference, especially in OU812.
That tells me that they either don't have a very good ear. A very good ear at listening to the differences, or they just maybe their sound system sucks. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't sound any different on my stereo. I'm like, well, then get a new stereo or something. I
was listening on my phone. It sounded like shit.
Exactly.
Like, oh, you don't say.
Yeah. Listen to it with headphones on. You really hear the difference there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. What else we got? Oh, there was a big thing with the Wolfgang Van Halen. He had an interview with Eddie Trunk. Yes, and he was
wondering if you're going to get to that.
Yeah, Eddie Trunk asked him why a different kind of truth just kind of disappeared from all streaming services. And Wolfie said, yeah, because the contract ran out, and there's somebody behind the scenes who's making it difficult to get it back up there because he doesn't like the record. And so Eddie said, yeah, Eddie's question was if the people who are preventing the album from returning were also involved with the record, which Wolfie said, yeah. And then Eddie Trunk said, might that person commonly be known by 3 initials? And Wolfie said, probably. I mean, yeah, you can put it together. I hate to say it because people think I'm making stuff up. And it's like, man, I'd love to have that record back up there, but he doesn't like it. And he's not working with us to get it back up there. So I hope people who like it have a physical version of it.
That's why, look, I tell people all the time, especially in the day and age of streaming, not just music, but like films and TV show. And all of a sudden something disappears from your streaming service. And you're like, well, what the hell? That was my comfort thing. And I always say, like, that is why you buy physical media, because eventually all the things you love. Yeah, all the things you love and stream and take for granted, they're going to go away. One day they're going to go away. Yep. I'll never forget the uproar of people, even though they were warned that the TV show The Office was leaving Netflix, and it was a mainstay, and it was probably Netflix's biggest stream thing ever.
It was,
yeah. And they knew time was running out, that Peacock was going to take it away, but nobody cared, nobody listened, and then suddenly it was gone, and you could hear the roar of millions of unsatisfied customers for about a week straight. And I'll admit, I was one of them too. I was like, oh, because I didn't have Peacock at the time, so I was like, son of a bitch. Like, there goes
what? If you're a true fan of something, buy the fucking stuff.
Yeah, you gotta buy it.
You gotta, like, even with Todd and I, when we put our album out this year, our CD comes with all the tracks.
Yeah,
you want to listen to it online? Nope, only four of 11 tracks. So it's like the content's always better. There's always more shit on there. There's always the behind the scenes stuff on Blu-rays and stuff. You don't get that on a streaming service. Like, go support the art. Go buy the stuff.
Amen, brother.
Yeah,
and
the cover and everything. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And our new patron, Michael Triplett, pointed out OU812 Remastered is an amazing improvement to a great album, 100%. And you really appreciate it when you listen to it on vinyl. I haven't yet. I'm very much looking forward to, but even just, over the internet, it sounds much, much better. Ryan Powell says, fuck David Lee Roth. Get over yourself and get the music back out there. Absolutely. Because I have the CD of A Different Kind of Truth. I never did get the vinyl. And if you want to buy a vinyl copy now, it's $500. So I was kind of hoping maybe they would reissue that one too. Now that they've done all the Van Hagar stuff, maybe they'll reissue A Different Kind of Truth. But if Dave doesn't like it and is blocking it from streaming, I doubt we're going to get a vinyl reissue anytime soon, which is really depressing.
He doesn't like
really enjoy that album.
Wait a minute. He doesn't like the album, but the last however many videos he's put out, that's gold.
The irony should not be lost on anyone.
That was a segue for you, Corey.
I'm bringing it up. Hold on.
Don't do it. No.
I want to hear Beautiful Girls or whatever it was that.
I would much rather hear Beautiful Girls.
We got a new one. This is a little bit of the shit that killed Elvis, the new David Lee Roth song they released a while back.
Sean, this is your fault.
I'll take
To a monkey 'cause he wanted to see if he could roll like Elvis in what degree.
Oh, yeah.
The results the extras couldn't believe. Fucking shit lit up like a Christmas tree. Monkey went
Chip lit up like a Christmas tree.
broke the light, smashed the camera and destroyed.
Strangely enough,
Now he's hiding.
this sounds very reminiscent of Hammerhead Shark.
That's the shit that killed Elvis. And it almost killed the chimpanzee.
And it almost killed the chimpanzee. There you go.
Shit that killed Elvis.
Oh, boy.
And there's actually John 5, back to the Van Halen news desk, was talking about these David Lee Roth recordings because this was all going to be part of some show he was going to do called Summer Over the Rainbow Bar and Grill. I think I gave a little bit of the synopsis of what the show is going to be.
You gave the biographical references from song to song, yeah.
Yeah. Here's the quote from David Lee Roth again. It's autobiographic. Summer Over the Rainbow Bar and Grill is the opening theme song, and it's about an Indiana kid who goes to sleep thinking the Wizard of Oz and the characters in his life, the butcher, the baker, and the newspaper guy, pop out of posters and sing him a song called Giddy Up. And he finds his way to all the good things in life, having discovered rock in the 60s. And there's a song titled Alligator Pants. Yes, I own a pair. I wore them for the last 2 tours, and things go horribly left of center wrong. Of course, when you sell your soul to the devil, and one of the tunes is called The Shit That Killed Elvis. So yeah, it's pretty stellar material. End quote.
Wow. Is that John 5 on that track too?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Oh, John, really?
Oh, come on, dude.
Chaz loves this song.
You know what?
And he liked Giddy Up too, so there you go.
Yeah, honestly, but like John was Manson's boy for a long time, so I mean he's used to playing real shit when the money's right. So good on him because that guy can wail when you let him.
I got a question for Chaz. Is he a fan of Nana Mouskouri or Anne Marie? I'm just trying to feel out the preferences you like if you like those last 2 songs. Just asking.
I love Josh's comment. Oh, it makes so much more sense now. Eye roll emoji. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
but again, in this interview, John 5 talked about how he'd like to rework some of the Fair Warning songs, Fair Warning style. He says heavy distorted guitars and riffs and solos and all that cool stuff. So he's hoping maybe. Chaz says he has an answer. Anne Marie is sweet and tender, biting. So.
We talk about Anne on my show all the time. We take a lot of shots at Anne in my show.
And Anna was
I just lost a subscriber. Oh well.
Yeah. Going after Anne Murray. Tune in to SeanGeek FastFret Podcast.
Yeah, Anne Murray was the rival to my mom when my mom was in the scene. They were rivals.
Okay.
And
there's a reason.
Personal. Yeah. This is a personal thing. Yeah.
My mom would never swear unless you brought up Anne Murray's name. Yeah.
That's
I like
awesome.
that. I'm gonna have to get the saga of your mom and Anne Murray sometime.
Awesome.
Tune in to the podcast. I'd love to hear about that. So
remember the song from South Park, Blame Canada, and that bitch Anne Murray too.
And that bitch Anne Murray too. Yeah, there you go. If there's anything else on the news desk, or we can move on over to the next segment.
Yep, that is pretty much it. Again, check out vhnd.com for all your Van Halen news.
All right. Well. There's an interesting development happening because if we go over to the poll from last week's show, we did One I Want. Not the greatest song that we have talked about, but certainly not the worst. It doesn't help that it comes from what I think so far is the worst album that we have discussed, and that is the infamous Van Halen 3. One I Want was not the one any of us wanted, as it was a full sweep of down votes. Yeah, of course. But here's the thing, Corey. We always put up a poll to hear from everybody to see how they felt about it. we have, and there is at the time of this recording right now, but by the time this show comes out, the voting will be done. But right now, it is a 50-50 split. An even 50-50 split. On one hand, I want to be so baffled, but I feel like my head would blow up like in that movie Scanners, because trying to comprehend that would just can't fathom. And I like my head. I don't want to see it blown up. So, and then the other part of me is just kind of going, I really just am just so intrigued and so curious to know what everyone's thought process was, because Corey, you and I were not fond of this song whatsoever. Is this the kind of voting that you thought was going to happen?
In a way, because we've had one other 50-50 song. Do you remember what it was? It's a Sammy song. I'll give you a hint.
Oh, the other 50-50. Don't tell me it wasn't Up for Breakfast, right? I think that was pretty unanimous. Everyone hated it.
Up for Breakfast is 19% What Dreams Are Made Of, 81% This Dream Is Over. It is by far the lowest voted one. Nope. Fair. But you're very close in that you have the album right.
Wait, what would it be?
Okay. No, just tell me.
It was the other. Oh my God, the other track.
There was three on that. Yeah, there was three on that album. Right? Yeah. Learning to See.
Oh, okay. Really? That one was 50-50. Huh.
Yep. Ryan Powell got it. Yeah. And the other song on there is called It's About Time. That was 61.8% What Dreams Are Made Of, 38.2% The Dream Is Over. Now, Ryan Powell is calling some chicanery here, because he said earlier there were 61 votes and it was 50.8. Now there's only 60 votes. Where'd that vote go? Now, in America, you guys are known for hanging chads and fixing elections, right? So what the fuck's going on?
Very true.
I don't know about all that. My buddy Chaz ain't hanging around at all.
Elon pulled his vote back. That's
maybe
that's
he did.
Yeah.
Maybe so. Maybe Elon's behind all this, because he knows that I talk shit about him all the time. So maybe he's just like, I'll show that guy and his show.
He's also a fan of Van Halen 3, from what I understand.
He seems like he would be the type, he would be the type of he mixed. He did. He was like, I wanted to try my hand at production. It's not that hard. Like, it sounds like shit, bro.
I'll go under the pseudonym Mike Post, but it's really Elon Musk. We need Kevin Brown. We need a new short. Elon Musk's fault.
He's just as tasteful as Mike Post.
I love that conspiracy. Elon is Mike Post.
Yeah,
that's the whole. But no, I don't know what happened to that other vote. It's just somebody, I guess, redacted it. You know what? I think it's because
I don't think you can recall votes, can you?
Can you not? Oh, well, then I have no explanation as to where that vote went, unless somebody deleted their Twitter or something like that. But look, there at the time of this recording, there's still 1 day left, so it could sway a different way at this point. But as of right now, it's a 50-50 split. I'll even you know what? Let me refresh.
I've got my Twitter accounts. I'm going to go vote right now.
Perfect.
You go.
It's really
nope, still 50-50. But anyway, well, let's so while we get a better result on that, let's go in and check out the tweets from our patrons. If you guys want your tweet guaranteed read on the show, as we say every week, join the Patreon. Guarantee you there's a tier for you. Oh boy. And maybe we can make a tier where if you pay a certain amount of money, you can force me to listen to this song on a loop.
Sorry.
And I'll do it. But
I just thought we needed some music underneath.
Well, if you're going to play music, play something else. But you know what? We're going to go to someone who kind of did, if I'm not mistaken, kind of their own version of a mini festo. And that would be you, Sean. I'm going to read your tweets out here because you had a doozy.
I had a lot to say.
So you did have a lot to say. And what you said was, I have tried and tried to like Gary and Van Halen over and over again. I watched tons of concert footage trying to reason with the whole thing that maybe it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. But I have this to say. Gary did not have the pull in the band to do anything. While Dave and Sammy both ended up being the bullshit detectors of their eras of the band, and honestly Wolfgang afterwards, Gary would never have had the opportunity to say, this doesn't work. This works. Let's cut that. Let's rework that. His say would have been minimal at best. And we know that Mike never had any say. But what if Wolfgang had been there? he was able to control the egos in the room. He would have worked very well with Gary. A different kind of truth worked more or less. Well, not if you ask Dave. And all because of Woofy. We know that Gary works very well with brilliant people when they are focused ones like Nuno, and not all over the place like Eddie was last time. Gary and Wolf would have energized the band and worked the kinks and the performances. So I'm assuming, Sean, you gave this thing a big whopping downvote, yeah?
Yep, definitely.
And Anne Murray fronted Van Halen. Fuck off, Jazz.
I was told that Eddie really wanted to have my wonderful pipes to sing in my maritimer voice, and
that's all I got.
I thought you were doing a Michael Jackson impression for a second.
Well, whatever.
Like, oh.
Anne Marie and Michael Jackson very close together. So
Exactly. So I like it. I'm into it. Yeah, there you go. That's better. Ryan Powell, our buddy Ryan, says there's a lot of untapped potential on this one, and some of the aspects that hold it back have been addressed on the podcast. Still, there is a lot to enjoy here too. The staccato opening riff pairs nicely with the vaulting bass line and Al's immaculate as always drums. The call and response structure of the verses works well. Thank you. And while not all of the lines are gems, many are clever and they all serve as examples to lead to the theme of the song in the chorus. The guitar breakdown leading into the solo is a subtle showcase in and of itself, mirroring the call and response structure of the verses, and the rhythm section just playing grooves throughout the typically great solo. A nice touch are the ending hits where it leaves you guessing which will be the final one. There are 11. There's 11 hits before it ends. Made for great ending live, too, and ballsy. How easy would it have been to fall into the hole on that one? So on all this, he says that's why it's what dreams are made of for him. So there's part of your upper 50, Ryan Powell. And we kind of figured that based on his comments whilst recording the show, because he was a lurker, because he's a patron. Hey, if you want to lurk, you should join our Patreon. It's that simple.
And he's a great guy, and I love that he really dug that song. Yeah, just
his commentary is always phenomenal.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, I love how he explains it in plain English why he dug it, and that's great. All I could say is it stinks. I'm not
for us. It didn't. For us, it didn't work. But I love that Ryan loves it, and I love that he does the thing that we ask him to. It's like, if we don't agree with you, the listener, we want to know why your opinion was opposing. Like, let us in. Ryan never shies away from letting us in, and that's what we appreciates about you. So
yes, keep it up.
Thank you. Moving on to Scott Monroe, the solo and the outro save it for me. The entire back section is a head-banging rockin' jam-gasm of goodness by the Van Halen brothers, and I don't care about the cheesy lyrics or underwhelming chorus after hearing that. Hashtag what dreams are made of. Hashtag no apologies. Yeah. No apologies necessary for you, Scott.
No, and I love that.
So there you go.
I think I mentioned I don't mind cheesy lyrics either until they take me out of the song for me to need to make fun of them, and that's what happened.
I agree.
Here.
Yeah, I agree.
We listen to songs with cheesy lyrics all the time, and if they kind of fit, you can kind of roll along with them. This one just kind of pulled me out a little bit. So
I mentioned on the show that Jump has some of the cheesiest lyrics that they've ever done, and yet it's lyrics. Jump. Yeah, it's horrible lyrics, but it's Jump. The song, I mean, it's the most popular Van Halen song ever, so it's just like, it can work. The cheesy lyrics can work as long as the music and the vibe all fit together. For us, One I Want does not fall into that category, but that's just us. For Scott and Ryan, though, they're into it. So moving on.
Chaz has a different opinion if you want to read Chaz's opinion here. Yeah.
Chaz says, my opinion, once I cleared the vomit from my mouth, I had to change my shorts. Fuck this song. So he vomited and he shit at the same time. There's actually a clinical term for that, but I'm not looking it up. Anyway,
thank you.
Davey Lee Smith says, song is a complete shit show. The dream is over, but the episode itself is what dreams are made of, since Matt was ripping this tune a new one and all of you guys tearing apart the questionable lyrics was absolute aces. I couldn't stop laughing while all that was going down. Well, if nothing else, I've always maintained that Corey and I, whilst we are not experts on the band, and we're not rock historians whatsoever. We know a few things about music here and there, but we're not experts. At the very least, our show will be entertaining. even when we really don't
Hopefully.
like a song that we're listening to. I maintain that we may not know all the information, but we'll entertain you as if we do. So that's Tom Armbruster says, okay, if the production was up to snuff, better sound on the instruments, vocal level set appropriately, would that make a difference in the quality of the song? No, it wouldn't.
I would say slight. I would enjoy it maybe a bit more, but to me, it just the lyrics pull me out so hard. Like they're so dumb.
If Gary could at least like be Gary and not like be Dave / Sammy, because he pushed himself way too hard.
Yeah,
on there, and you can hear him just cresting all the time, vocally, horrible.
It's a good question though. Chaz says Tom, no, and then Michael, if the vocals are an extension of the music, it's a winner. If they don't, the song stinks. Absolutely correct. Could not agree.
It's funny. It's funny you bring that up, Sean. There was somebody else who had tweeted before. Kind of went on a whole tirade about how we need to give Gary a break because we're just laying into him on this episode, and it's like. As if, and he implied that we were blaming Gary that the entire album doesn't work. It's like, no, we've never blamed Gary that the album doesn't work. We blamed everybody that the album doesn't work.
We're now blaming Elon Musk.
Yeah, now we're blaming Elon Musk, which I'm leaning more into that's factual, but quote unquote Mike Post. We know who you are.
Elon
you
Post.
Don't fool us. We're done with the game is over. No, we've always maintained that Gary's doing his best, but even so, Gary is not beyond some of the faults. Like he wrote the lyrics, so that's on him. Yeah. He decided to choose to do his vocals the way he did, so that's on him, and that's on the producer for not going like maybe don't do it that way. And it's also on really it's on the Van Halen brothers for not going like, hey. No, we don't like that. Do something else. Be you. I don't think anyone told him, hey, Gary, be you. Sing it like you would.
I'm sure of that.
So, and because
every time I'm in the studio, someone's always giving me shit for my vocals. Don't do that. Stop doing that. Hold back. Do this. But it's all that give and take, all that tugging back and forth that gets the best vocal performance. Nobody did that with him. I think he's like, is this okay? Yeah, whatever. I'm just worried about my guitar part.
Yeah, that's what it was. Like there was it didn't seem like it was a collaboration whatsoever. So that has always been our issue with this album, and we've maintained that. So
maybe that's why I think somebody, either Ryan or Scott, pointed out it was a better live song. And maybe it is because maybe you have Gary singing it like Gary. It probably is a lot better. It doesn't help the lyrics at all, but I imagine it would sound better.
Probably so, but alas, we will never know. Moving on, Jeff Brewer says Gary's wordplay is okay. He does this kind of corny but clever stuff with Extreme, but it usually works there. Not here. The verses have no relation to the bridge chorus sections. Can't stand the background vocals nor the chorus. Still an upvote. Not sure why. Maybe ask Ryan. So there you go. See the overwhelming goodness of Ryan's positivity swayed Jeff.
It's rubbing off.
He didn't even want to. He said, "No, I don't want to upvote this, but I can't not because of Ryan." So
Jazz Charles says Anne Murray would have taken it to another place.
Oh God, he's not going to let that go. The entire show.
Just a torment.
Oh man, our buddy Kevin Brown says it's probably my favorite opener. Utter dog shit, but just pretend like it's a Brit saying it. Utter dog shit, half-assed verses, a chorus that doesn't fit at all. The solo is great. It's a killer bass line, and Al is crushing it. But then you have Gary mixed like fucking Bane. Jesus, the production on this album is grade school level. This stream is over. This song can. I don't know what hashtag GFI is. Like I'm guessing
go fuck itself. Go fuck itself.
Okay.
Yeah,
can go fuck itself. Okay,
Kevin Brown is a card-carrying member of the Church of Go Fuck Yourself, so that would be that hashtag.
that would totally fit.
Yeah,
love it. But got a great chuckle from that. So thank you.
I'm curious. Is Kevin lurking in here?
No, he's editing a podcast.
Editing. He's
bitch.
Because
I'm curious. Was this song worse than November Rain? Because
that's a good question.
That is a good question.
Yes, good question.
How about that, Corey? Why don't you like off screen send Kev a message and he can answer anytime. Like, hey, just random question real quick. We want to know, and we'll check back in later about that. Moving on. Greg Zito says everything on Diver Down is better than this one. The vocals and lyrics cannot be saved by the solo. Hashtag the dream is over. And that's a reference because the aforementioned tweet about the guy implying that all we do is shit on Gary all the time. And he was, no, I'm sorry. There was another person from last week. Yeah, it was who said that Diver Down is easily the worst. Van Halen 3, one song is better than anything on Diver Down, which we fundamentally disagreed with. So, and that is what Greg is replying to here. And I think that'll do it for our patron tweets. So not a lot to say about this one other than the ones that did upvoted did explain why, which is great. And we thank you guys so much for doing that. And then, of course, everyone else who were like-minded as we were last week said, like, nope, not for me. Move on. Next. So Scott says,
has a good comment. Yeah, read that one.
Yeah, the harder Van Halen 3 tracks. The ones they thought were more in the strike zone are where Gary sounds most strained. Gary sounds his most comfortable to me on the outliers, like Year to the Day. I agree.
That's a good point.
It is a good point. There are moments where Gary is doing his own thing, and while it does sound better, I think it's just because the overall vibe of the album just doesn't mesh with me, or at least it hasn't so far. With like, I've liked, I think, 2 songs so far on this album. We only have, I think, one left. I don't foresee me really being into that one, but who knows? It's all in good time.
You upvoted Without You, as did I, which is the current leader at 70%, What Dreams Are Made Of, and Year to the Day. We both upvoted. It's at 58%. It's in second. And I have an answer from Kevin Brown. He says the worst song is November Rain in a Landslide.
Ooh, well, there you go, Scott, or Sean. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's
that's an upcoming topic on our show because my brother loves that song.
Oh, really? Oh, that'll be
good. I almost feel like having Kevin on for that one specifically.
Oh, you have to now.
You
absolutely have to.
It's hard to hold a candle in the cold November.
Tune in to SeanGeek FastFret Podcast for that one, for that upcoming.
You guys want to hear that? If you guys want to hear that, we'll do it. I'm sure Kevin has lots of time to be on 10 other podcasts. So,
yeah. Look, if Corey can do it, Kevin can do it. So
if Corey is Galactus, does that make Kevin Brown like Silver Surfer? Or
I was thinking more like Terex, but yeah, Silver Surfer, one of the heralds.
He's not as cool as Silver Surfer.
You guys got to keep in mind, Chaz Charles is catching me here because he did Regarding Lulu. That's wrapped up.
Yeah.
He's doing Rush Rash, which I was just on, had a great time. And he's doing Regarding Roger right now, Roger Waters. So he's catching up.
Oh, I thought
Roger. It's not
Chaz
Roger Moore.
Is like the if he's a herald, he's probably like the cosmic Ghost Rider that Frank Castle becomes when he becomes the herald of Galactus, just because of the insanity and the chaos. And there you go. So, yeah, Tom knows. Tom knows about Terex.
Is awesome. He's one of my faves.
Look, there's
Roger
a rumor
Ebert,
that he's
or Egbert. Chaz says Roger Egbert. I've never heard of Roger Egbert, but I can't wait for that one.
Was he another herald, Roger Egbert?
I don't know.
Roger Egbert. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, maybe another herald.
Maybe he is now. There it is. There were several. So whomever wants to be whomever. Yeah. So. But there you have it, you guys. And one more time, if you want your tweets guaranteed read on the show, letting us know how you felt about that particular track we covered, join the Patreon. It's that simple. We've got a tier for you. I guarantee it. And if we don't, let us know. We'll make it.
Damn right.
Very well then, gentlemen, I think it's time. It's time to do the second favorite thing we love to do. The first is to spin the wheel. But before that, grab your drinks. Say it with me, everyone. Manifestations.
Manifestations.
There, the voice of God just appeared out of nowhere.
God's not even here. Anyway. Yeah,
that was the voice of God.
No,
God.
That was a different one. That was like Lilith or something. Anyway, but we have some manifestations in the Discord. No, not that one. Never that one.
That's what I thought.
There's a voice of God too.
Yeah, Sean and I are on the same wavelength there. That's what I thought.
I think so.
Lilith or BB, which one's worse?
I don't know.
Which one's more terrifying? Let's see. Going over to our Discord, and if you're on the Patreon, you can be on the Discord as well. Join the conversation. It never stops. Scott Monroe, to the surprise of no one, is manifesting Josephina, which I do believe is the last track in Van Halen 3. I think Scott is just trying to pull the Band-Aid off for us and just get it over with, get it done, get the album.
No, he does change that.
Or maybe he just really wants to hear it. I don't know.
Well, I tell you what, I mentioned in the Patreon today that I was a little under the weather today. I actually took most of today off sick from work, rested up so I could knock off 3 hours of podcast here tonight. And we have the best patrons, like we really do. All these guys are fantastic. And Scott changed his vote. He said, actually, I feel bad making that manifestation after learning that Corey is sick. Instead, I manifest somebody get me a doctor, which is phenomenal. I would love to hear somebody get me a doctor here tonight. And actually, Jeff Brewer, the same.
Jeff Brewer, he said, he
copied
me a doctor. So that's two. That's two for you.
Michael, who's new to the Patreon and new to the Discord, wants to hear House of Pain. That'd be a good one, too. That would knock off 1984. That would set up our next live show. That's a good one. And Ryan Powell,
Thank you, Michael,
of course. Ryan Powell, Thief of Joy. Deserves a punch in the dick. Says, I'm sure Corey's all feet up watching TV and needs someplace to feast his eyes. What would snap him out of feeling crappy? Spanked. Then, of course, Chaz again.
They just want you to be spanked. That's all. They
I guess so, yeah. I got my spanking done on the Rush Rash. You get a colonoscopy before you go on that show. It's quite the thing. You'll have to check that.
I love saying things out loud that I know are going to be taken out of context when
Christy's walking through the room.
Can't hear the conversation and is not aware that Spanked is a Van Halen track.
Yes.
So
I don't think she believes you.
She doesn't. So she too is going to by proxy manifest Spanked because she has to know. She has to figure it. She has to know. She's on this journey with us too.
How is she feeling? We talked about this off air. We didn't talk about it on the air, but Christy had a little bit of a fall through your roof into the bathroom.
Is that what happened?
So we have Christy live here on the show. I'm trying to get out of the way for you to let the people know how you're feeling after your spill and to give context for what exactly happened.
Oh, I guess did you not tell everybody last week? Well, I prefer it was a descent from the heavens, not a spill.
Angels fall from the heavens. Good call. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like but no, I feel okay. It's just stupid because I broke my ass for an off-on switch on our heating unit. Just.
You slipped and fell from the attic onto the bathroom.
Yeah, so yeah, like our attic isn't fully finished. It's really stupid that at the top of the ladder there's just drywall and not plywood, and you gotta like grab a cross beam and step diagonally to safety. We're gonna take care of that. We're gonna just finish out the attic. And yeah, like I slipped and like I thought I was gonna be able to pull myself back up, but then like the whole ceiling just went. So yeah, but I feel pretty good. Like
that's good.
They gave me good medicine.
Excellent.
Well, just for Christy, I'm hoping we roll Amsterdam here tonight. So
I am already quite prepared for Amsterdam. If you couldn't tell.
Oh, she's ready. That's why
I thought, yeah. Wham, bam, Amsterdam. Yeah, I thought maybe something was going on there, but.
Look, man, she at this point she's got the excuse because she fell through the damn ceiling.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Whatever remedy is going to help alleviate said pain from falling through the ceiling. She's earned it.
I don't know what I want to hear more now, Amsterdam or Black and Blue. I think fits kind of as well. So.
Oh, I mean,
man, if y'all get that, that's
there you go. So. There, proxy manifestation, Black and Blue, Spanked, or Amsterdam. Either one of those, and we'll get another guest.
Perfect. How about you, Sean? What do you want to hear tonight?
I really want to hear Big Bad Bill is Sweet William now. I want to hear some Jan Van Halen. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear some Jan Van Halen. We've heard Wolfie, we've heard Eddie, we've heard Alex.
Yeah.
I want to hear
We need
Jan.
Some Jan. Yeah, good call. Yeah, not mad at that. How about you, Mr. Kamire?
Oh, I mean, because it was such a strange and weird couple of weeks. It's broken my heart a little bit. So I have to manifest a heartwarming Van Halen track, and what better one than When It's Love? Because that's a very, very nice little Sammy ballad, and I feel like we've got a lot of Sammy left to cover, and I just feel like we need a really good rockin' Sammy track, and I have a lot to say about When It's Love, so that's what I will be manifesting. How about yourself, sir?
Well, Amsterdam or Black and Blue. I'm going to stick with.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. But I won't be mad at somebody to get me a doctor either, because that fits for Christy as well. But Ryan asks, so the doing it in Black and Blue is flipping the switch on the heater?
So, context here. The upstairs, there's 2 units for the heater, for the downstairs and the upstairs. Upstairs, the heater is in the attic. We had to have it recently replaced because the heater that was in there was old and it didn't work anymore. So we got a new heater. Cool. We flipped on the heat for the first time the other day because, as I mentioned, it's finally got cold. The heat did not come on. So she went to go inspect it, had the accident. I recently went up there trying to figure out what was the problem. Well, the problem was there was an on-off switch inside the panel of the heater, and it was flipped to off. So I flipped it on. So she fell through the ceiling for an on-off switch, which we didn't know that at the time. We discovered that. No, as soon as I flipped it on, the heat's like, oh, we work. So there you go. There's the context.
I had no idea you're a handyman, Mark. In the words of Canadian legend Red Green, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy.
I mean, I'm handy for other good purposes, but handyman around.
Yeah, let's not go there. Yeah. Let's keep this PG, shall we?
Never. This show at this point, we got 26 songs left. No.
Hey, be careful. That's the shit that killed Elvis.
I thought it was a monkey or some chimpanzees.
It almost killed the chimpanzee. Almost.
Oh, it almost. Almost. He survived. That's
right.
Jesus.
Hey, look at this. It's the wheel.
Since there are 3 of us on the panel and we've got a few lurkers, how many we got lurking in the chat right now?
6 right now.
So you want to do 9 primes?
Let's do 9. Sure. Let's go to the shuffle.
9 times.
8, 9 times. All right. You boys ready to go?
Oh, always.
All right. Let's do it.
Here we go.
No, it's almost Amsterdam. Instead,
it was so close.
It's the second time we've spun Can't Stop Loving You from Balance. You wanted a ballad, a Sammy ballad. You got that, Mark.
That is
true.
As you get.
It's pretty much so. I was laughing at you just reminded me. I said, oh, this is the second time we spun it. The first one, we pulled a mulligan the first time we spun it.
You used your mulligan for
I did.
Greg DePasquale, who on the first show he was on, we spun How Many Say I, which he said was his most hated Van Halen song ever. And so he comes on again. We thought we have to make it good for Greg because we'll bring him back. We'll spin something better. We're bound to, right? We spin his second most hated Van Halen song of all time, Can't Stop Loving You.
So he called a shot.
He did in the wrong way. In the wrong way.
As long as it's not Can't Stop Loving You, I'll be happy. And then we spun it. So Mark nicely used his mulligan to respin for him. And he got a better song. I don't remember offhand what it was, but Can't Stop Loving You has been on the wheel ever since. And now it's coming off. Here's a big hit off of Balance.
Hey, how many we got left on Balance? Balance is most of the album, right?
Yeah, we haven't done a ton off Balance.
No,
we have 1, 2, 3, 4 songs left off Balance.
All right. So again, like I said, plenty of Sammy left to go around for these last go of the wheel. So don't you worry. We'll get to plenty more Sammy, and to all the Sammy haters out there is like, well, I don't know. You can keep listening and just maybe you'll change your mind, or you can keep listening and then tell us like, yo, you see, this song sucks, so we told you. Like, okay, but until that time, it is a Sammy free for all. We still got some
the Sammy Hagar podcast.
Probably so. And I would like to talk to the Bogus Otis boys to hear, what kind of feedback they tend to get from their listeners. Just in terms, because we know the Roth camp is such a diehard mess of a group of people. I mean, like, we all appreciate the David Lee Roth era, but you don't have to choose one or the other. We can have it all. It's fine. Anyway. But that's not what we're discussing. Tonight, we discuss Can't Stop Loving You. Without showing your hand, Sean, do you have any little fond memories or little anecdotes about this song before we talk about it?
Yeah, well, the album in general, Balance, was one of those albums that I kind of skipped when it came out. I was kind of on my downward spin with Van Halen at that point.
Sure, yeah.
And then, because I'd gotten into, like, Tool and Pantera and kind of those sorts of things at that time. So but I came back to it later and kind of had a new appreciation for the album. And I was like, oh, why did I pass up on this? Oh, because I don't know, just change of musical taste. So the album in general it still feels like a new Van Halen album to me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Fresh.
Yeah, I get it. How about yourself, Corey?
Yeah, Balance was an album I listened to a ton before we started doing this show, and it's one I've really started to appreciate more and more as we're kind of going through the track listing, because there's been some pretty good stuff. Seventh Seal was a real standout for me. 81% voted for What Dreams Are Made Of. Don't Tell Me is still one of my favorite Sammy Hagar era Van Halen songs. I know lyrically it gets a little dark, but like groove wise and just melody, fucking fantastic. Big Fat Money was all right. Not Enough is a good one. Even Crossing Over, which is on the Rarities vinyl on the new Collection 2 that we covered on this show, was a real kind of standout. It was 77%. So it turns out to be a pretty popular album in kind of a weird time for Van Halen, because Sammy was kind of splitting away from the brothers at this time. And he talked about this being kind of a dark period in Van Halen history. So the fact they got so much good music out of it is really kind of cool. And there's really only one song I would even consider downvoting on this record. I'm not going to tell you what it is, though, because it might be this one. So I don't want to tip my hand too much. But yeah. How about you, Mark? What were your initial impressions of Can't Stop Loving You and the album Balance?
My first impression of, or not impression, but like my first introduction to Can't Stop Loving You was actually not from the Balance album proper. It was from the infamous Van Halen Volume 1. That I held so dear, because it was a track on there. And I remember listening to that going, because I, at the time, foolishly thought I had a good grasp on Sammy era Van Halen. And obviously I didn't, because it's like, no, dude, you're missing like big chunks of the time here. There's like songs that don't get a lot of, don't get any radio play. So yeah, you're missing so much of it. Best of Volume 1 helped me with a lot of those, but then it's the best of, so you're going to get the hits regardless. This one to me didn't feel like a hit. This one kind of, in my young brain at the time, thought like, oh, this must be like a deep cut or something that they just had to throw into the best of because it has such a cult following or some shit. That was my thinking when I was a younger lad. But yeah, so it wasn't until way later when I checked out Balance in its proper album release that I was like, oh, that's the album this song comes from. So I've got some nostalgic feelings towards it because of that.
Perfect. All right. Well, this was a charting single for Van Halen back in 1995. It hit number 30 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, number 2 on the mainstream rock charts. So what do you say? Let's get into it. This is Can't Stop Loving You from 1995's Balance.
There's a time and place for everything, for everyone. We can push with all our might, but nothing's gonna come. Oh no, nothing's gonna change. And if I ask you not to try.
I think what drew me to this song originally. My dad is a big fan of the Pretenders. He's always been a fan of that band. So I kind of grew up sort of like listening to a lot of Pretenders because of my dad, and you know, Van Halen as well. This song always gave me Pretenders vibes with the riffs, the way the riffs are played, and the tone of Eddie's guitar. You know the song I'm talking about specifically.
Totally.
Don't get me wrong.
And yeah, that's it. That's the one. Yeah, and so I always kind of had that in my brain when I would listen to this, and it just I guess along with the nostalgia, and maybe it's even a bigger form of the nostalgia, but I always it kind of made me think of the Pretenders, which makes me think of my dad, and it's like okay, so there's there's like a weird sort of comfort in that, but it's also interesting because I don't know the date of when that Pretender song came out, but I have to imagine it probably came out before this one. I think it did.
That was in the 80s.
80s, right?
Yeah. Okay. Good. So it makes one wonder, and I am not an expert, as I've mentioned earlier, or a rock historian, but I wonder if subconsciously, maybe, you think Eddie listened to Pretenders? Do you think
Isn't Eddie a fan of Chrissy Hind?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't be?
I seem to think that. I don't know.
And yeah, Chaz, Ed was a fan of Christie. There you
go. All right, well, there you go. So I wonder if maybe
we have a rock historian in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Chaz.
Everything I said bad about you earlier, I'm wiping it clean right now.
Anyway, so I don't know. What do you think? Is there any merit to that? You think maybe Eddie got a little bit of inspiration, maybe not even knowing it consciously, from the Pretenders?
I think you're dead on, especially when it comes to tone. Like, that tone is not identical, but it's very, very similar.
It's very similar, and the way he plays it's very similar. It's not a copy, obviously, but yeah, it makes me wonder.
Well, as soon as you said Pretenders, I knew exactly what song you were talking about.
Yeah.
No, I totally see it.
Right there.
Great comparison. And this one was notable because Bruce Fairbairn asked Eddie to write like a more pop orientated song. And instead of going through his archive of like riffs and stuff, he just wrote new music from scratch and came up with Can't Stop Loving You. So
what do you guys think of the guitar, like the intro guitar piece there?
I love it, actually.
It's really good. Like the recording quality, like I don't know, maybe I didn't notice it before, but okay, thanks, JCM.
Yep.
I remember now it's coming back to me. I actually remember watching them play. I can't remember where it was, but anyway, what I was going to say was the tone of that guitar, the way it's recorded, it's really nice. It's not overpowering. It's exactly where it needs to be. Not too loud, not too quiet, the right amount of echo. And even on Sammy's vocal there, his vocal's really good here. He's not over singing like he can do sometimes. He's just powering through. No, he's taking it right back, but almost Pretender style, maybe, you know?
Even the drums, we talked about the Eddie or Alex's snare sound. How about that tom roll? Yeah. Like the toms sounded really kind of unique and cool. This is Bruce Fairbairn, and I know I'll get a ton of shit from Chris L from Pot of Thunder. He hates Bruce Fairbairn, especially what he did for the Kiss album, Psycho Circus, which I get. That's not a great sounding record, but he's done a lot of good work. And I think Balance stands up as among the best, if not the best, sounding Van Halen album ever.
For me, I don't know if it's the best sounding
it's
for
up
me,
there.
but
It's up there.
It's definitely up there. This particular track, for whatever reason, also has always to me sounded really, really crisp. So I don't know if they did something different specifically for this track, or maybe that's just the way it came together. I don't know, but yeah, it sounds wonderful.
I'd be curious to find out how he mic'd Ed's amp.
Yeah,
because it just sounds so good.
Oh, we got to give Ryan Powell's son a shout out. He says, I have to bounce for a bit to read with my son, which is a great excuse to leave the podcast.
Halen.
We'll let you go for that. His name is Halen, and he would love a shout out. How's it going, Halen? You've got the best name in name history. I think that is fucking fantastic.
And your dad is awesome.
Your dad is awesome.
Halen, go give your dad a hug. He's awesome.
He's one of our favorite people.
Positive.
Yeah. And Chad says best sounding Van Hagar album. There you go. I kind of go back and forth between this and For Unlawful.
I was about to say, like, don't you disregard For Unlawful? How dare
no, you can't. You can't. That's a great sounding record. But hey, Chaz is calling him out too. Hey, Halen, Go enjoy your book. Hopefully it's a good one. The guitar, Josh says, the guitar, if I remember correctly, has a piezo, or I'll probably say that wrong, pickup on it for this track. So guitar players, explain to us layman what that means.
Go ahead, Sean. That's all you.
No, I'm now I want to go back and listen. I don't know what that would sound like. Todd's never had one, so I'm not really sure what that would sound like, but
Tom thinks this is a step down from fuck quality.
Todd was here. Todd would just elucidate. And
Todd would know, but
knowledge.
I don't think Tom is wrong in that assessment. Like a step down, like not a huge step down, but just a slight, like maybe half a step.
There's a poppier sensibility to this album. I think some of the pop tricks in the studio. I mean, that's Fairburn, right? Like that's what he does. Yeah. But
For Unlawful has a harder edge to it. I think I probably prefer that one more just because of that edge to it. But yeah.
Didn't he work with Anne Marie or something? I don't know.
Everybody's worked with Anne Marie. Yeah.
Yes,
Anne Marie,
that's what my mom would tell you. She has worked with everybody. That's how she became famous. And why my mom?
Whoa!
Oh boy!
It's on.
She's going to be pissed to know that Anne Marie sings backup on "Can't Stop Loving You."
Now I just want to listen to a show where your mom just goes off on Anne Marie for like 2 hours.
We should have Mom back on.
No kidding.
I think you should. Like I'll be there. Just like go on, tell us.
She's only done 2 appearances, man. So.
Chaz says, production-wise, you can hear them all. Fuck is the best record in that era, in my opinion. Balance is a very big and clean sounding. Yep, that is very true.
I think Chaz is trying to win favor with me again. Like all the comments lately are just really good. I don't know.
Yeah, he's taking your side on everything. He's gonna have to come on the SeanGeek show and talk about Anne Marie with your mom. I'm
supposed to go on Chaz's show, but I did something stupid today.
Uh-oh.
I started writing a book today, so my schedule is
as you do. He's like, I started writing a book. Like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that excuse. Yeah. I tell you what, next time somebody asks me to be on a podcast, starting a book.
I'm starting a book. Yeah. I mean, and if you tell them that, they would believe it because you're you.
Oh, yeah.
And Jeff says sound-wise, Balance is the best. So there you go.
Yeah, fair.
All right. Let's keep going. Oh, that is how you write a pop chorus, my friends.
Yes,
Sammy killing it on the high notes on the I Can't Stop Loving You, and Eddie with the oohs. Oh, it's wonderful.
Eddie, we always talk about Mike's backgrounds here, but Eddie's backgrounds are real nice.
Yeah.
They're real nice.
When he lets himself show through in that way, he absolutely does. So just multifaceted, talented person. It's like it's almost infuriating.
Scott says Balance has the best oohs without question. Yeah, and you hear him on this song. And Tom made this point. I wanted to make it too. The guitar break at the end of the first verse. Yes, that is fantastic. Love that shit.
That gives me just the way he's Eddie's playing it gives me vibes from
finish what you started.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's exactly right. You hear it. You're hearing it. You're with me.
I reached over to my drum kit so I could play the song for a second. I was like,
nice.
Stay here.
I tell you, lyrically, different meanings on both those songs. One's about blue balls, and one's a nice little love song. But
look, you see, Sammy's multifaceted. You know, he's
multifaceted. Absolutely,
you can't lump him into one category of just like dumb shit like up for breakfast. Okay, like he is capable of so much more, and we know that. And deep down, you haters know that too.
I tell you, on the Sammy Hagar scale of lyrics, this is near the top. Like I think pretty good lyrics in this one.
For sure. So far, so good. Yeah.
Simple little love song. There's not much to it, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's keep rocking.
friends, your place in life. You can change your mind. We can change the things we say and do anytime. Oh no, but I think you'll find that when you look inside your heart, oh baby, I'll be there. Yeah, hold on. I'm holding on.
Oh, I love that kind of little like pre-chorus section with the hold on, and then I'm holding on.
Yeah. Did you hear all the little things Alex was doing there?
Constantly. That's the one revelation of doing this show is Alex just throwing. I just did the Rush Rash show. I'm going to give another plug to Chaz, but listening to what Neil Peart will kind of do just out of nowhere, just a little thing with the cymbals, just a little accent here or there that just elevates the song. Alex has been doing that his whole career, and he does it here as well too. So it's a pretty standard stock song, but yeah, just put in a little thing here.
Yeah,
little tom roll, something like that. And now
you want to
Scott
keep it
calls out Eddie's
lively
little
and
flourishes
fresh.
too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in that pre-chorus section, like I can't even because of the effect. I think it's a flange or whatever the guitar effect he's got going on with the distortion. You can't really hear specific notes he's playing because he's like putting a lot like into just a lot of chords. But I just the way it sounds makes it sound like everything's kind of flowing and moving. Almost ethereal like because like it's a pretty ethereal power ballad, so let's like make it sound that way, and not to be outdone or outshined or anything, but that the constant pulse of Mikey's bass line is something I really like because it could get obnoxious but it just fits. It's almost like it's the heartbeat of the song, and it's a love song, so heartbeat, that makes sense.
Yep. I'm going to let one of the guitar players read Josh's comment so I don't mispronounce that word again. Go ahead, Sean.
To add to my piezo comment, the piezo will add a more acoustic sheen to the electric guitar tone.
Oh, I see.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm following along now. That makes sense.
I hear. So then by that, from what we're hearing, it's possible. Yes.
All right. Right, before we get to the guitar solo, I want you to read Josh's comment. I'm going to cue something up here while you do it because I got a response from Kevin Brown on something too. So.
If I read all the jargon to what a piezo does, it would be as boring as the drum fills on November Rain, says Josh.
That's the comment of the show right there.
There you go. That's you can I think Kevin would understand that or he would get the gist of it anyway. So
great.
There you go. That comment's especially for you, Kev.
Don't you need some time?
I got this comment here from Kevin Brown. Yeah, he said, just found a pictorial representation of November Rain while looking for something else, and it's a picture of moldy cheese. So
moldy cheese.
Moldy cheese.
That's awful.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
He is not. So you're telling me you don't like the song? Is that it?
I tell you what, though, on the Ultimate Catalog Clash, we have a little side bet on who gets to pick the band for the second season. If I win, I might pick Guns N' Roses now, so we can talk about Use Your Illusion and November Rain.
Why would you do that?
That may need to happen.
But crap makes gold,
man.
Crap makes gold.
That is true.
You can take a shitty song but make a good show out of a shitty song.
100%.
That just doesn't sound like a good time, and that's coming from me, who I don't hate November Rain at all. I don't love it, but it's definitely not.
I
one of
don't
their
mind the
best to me.
first 25 minutes of November Rain, but the remaining 25 minutes, it's just
It gets a little much. I agree
Yeah, it
with you.
does.
Yeah, it's like an
Scott
early
says,
Genesis song.
yeah, kind of. Scott says Sammy's intonation on Surrender. I'm a sucker for
Amen.
it.
Amen, brother.
Right there with you, dude.
Yeah.
Right there
Yep.
with you.
So really understated by both brothers. Like you have Alex mainly playing the cymbals, and his cymbal work is phenomenal. Like yeah, I saw Sean air drumming to it
Oh, fuck
at a
yeah.
couple of spots. But even Eddie's guitar solo, very restrained, right? Just little accents are dear. Like it's nothing earth shattering, but it fits the song incredibly well.
And
Bruce behind, you just, Eddie, why don't you tone that back? Nobody wants to hear that guitar shit.
Now, Bruce
Fun
Fairburn, noted
fact.
hater of the guitar. Yeah, Eddie, no one came here to listen to your guitar. Yeah,
What are you, Neil Young or something?
get back behind the keys. That's where you belong. No. But fun fact, this is as all your points that you made about the solo, Corey, correct. It is very subdued. It's kind of not as rip roaring as a typical Eddie Van Halen solo. This is one of my favorite of his solos that he's ever done, and I think it's because it's so different and it, dare I say, subverts the expectation of what you think he's probably going to do when it's solo time. Because when it's solo time for Eddie, like you can almost hear the buildup to the solo. It's almost the main show of why you come to a Van Halen performance. Right? You want to see what Eddie's going to do solo wise. In this one, he's just he's doing the thing that we love to talk about. When he does really well is he plays a solo that fits the song. And personally, I feel like going in that direction, the direction that they went in this song, is the right one. He could have absolutely ripped something crazy, and it would have been great. Sure, would it have felt? But would it have served the purpose of the overall vibe of the song? I'm not sure. But I am sure that what he did here, at least to me, is just really, really well done. And I don't know, I really have a fondness for it.
What
Yep.
Corey was saying about the drum stuff there, like I was like, oh, what's he doing now? What's he doing now? What's it like? It was just, I didn't know where he was gonna go, and it was just, I don't know, it was so good. But
It's really, Alex he's very, very good about that. And that's one of my favorite things about this show and this journey is my rediscovery of what Alex is doing behind the kit and really appreciating it, because beforehand, and I've mentioned beforehand, I was just kind of like lukewarm on Alex Van Halen's drum work. And as a matter of fact, kind of grew up with the mentality of sort of, the band is great, love the band. I think Alex is the weak link, but of course that's a rookie's error, and that's a huge mistake. And over the years, I have obviously developed more of a keen ear to drumming, and I like to think more appreciation. But certainly because of the show and the journey, and really listening to what he's doing, it's incredible. Like he is absolutely incredible, and I love that he's not going to keep it boring for you. No matter how the song is going to sound, if you hate the song, Alex is going to at least, actually both Van Halen brothers, more or less, they're going to attempt to make it as entertaining as possible. Even if it's not your vibe, they're going to do something to keep it not boring. It's rare.
It's almost like there's like, Neil Peart does the same thing where it's like, okay, you know what? Someone might be listening to the song in the headphones and they're a drummer and they're trying to learn some new skills and some new stuff. And then I got to play something interesting to keep that person engaged.
Yes.
Maybe not the person that just hears the words and the singing, but I got to keep that one person engaged. So I can't just play the part I did in 7 other songs. I gotta add like little things in there. And there's just, it's so good.
And for a drummer, you want to, for a drummer, you want to keep things fresh, because you don't want to play like the same, same beats, 4/4 time signature for 32 bars or whatever, and because that gets stale, and then eventually I think it's gonna ruin your your inner tempo that you hold the song together, because it's just gonna get boring and flat. And as all great drummers want to freshen it up, throw in a little things, and then let's be honest, show off a little bit. Yeah, sure. And that's fine. That's show off. If you've got the ability, show it off. Look at what these two brothers did, because they wanted to show off, to show like, oh, look, listen to this riff. Yeah, but check this fill out. And it's just like,
I can see in the jam space, Eddie and Alex, and just kind of going back and forth, and then Eddie's, I'm sure Eddie's always watching Alex, and Alex is always watching Eddie. They're not looking at their instruments, they're looking at each other. And then I could just see Alex with a little smile going, oh, and just ding, 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 or whatever. And then Eddie's like, oh, yeah. And then like, just
try this. Yeah.
Back and forth. Like that's honestly, like
Eddie,
when my brother
would talk about it in his monitor, he only would hear Alex. He tuned out the bass, he tuned out the vocals. He was just listening to Alex. So to your point, you are correct there. Yeah. Now go ahead and finish your point with Todd there.
I was just going to say, when Todd and I play, because usually the rhythm section is the drummer and the bass player, but I always played with Todd. Like, I didn't really care what the bass player was doing. It was just like, oh, what's Todd going to do here? Oh, okay, then I'm going to add my little thing. And like, the music sounds different when it's push and pull between the guitar player and the drummer, I think. I don't know. I kind of like it.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree totally. And as Ryan Powell says, this is one of Al's more interesting performances. So many syncopated flourishes and tasteful space. He does that a ton in these songs, like especially during Eddie's solos. He'll throw in a little thing just that if you're really listening for it, you can appreciate. But normally you just kind of disregard because you're listening to Eddie and his guitar pyrotechnics at the time. But
right, yeah.
And when it's over, I know how it's gonna be. And true love will never die. Fade away. And I can't stop loving you. And no matter what I say or do, you know my heart is true. Oh, I can't stop loving you. And I know what I got to do. Hey, Ray, what you said is true.
all right, embarrassing admission time. When I first heard that song, I always thought he said, Helen Reddy, what you said was true. And I'm like, is there a line in I Am Woman that says Can't Stop Loving You that I'm unaware of? Because I always thought that was Helen Reddy, but he says, Hey Ray. I found out when I got the album and I looked at the liner notes, it's Hey Ray. Of course, referencing Ray Charles, who had a song, I Can't Stop Loving You. But first time I heard it, I always thought it was Helen Reddy.
Wow, I didn't realize that was, I thought it was Helen Reddy too. I guess, I don't know.
I thought that kind of a weird call out, but it's Sammy Hagar. You never know. Oh, t-shirt. Tom, we need a Helen Reddy. Helen Reddy, what you said was true t-shirt. Please, Kevin Brown.
Yeah, make it happen. So, look, if I could tell you how many songs over the years I've misheard lyrically before and have grown up thinking, I know what they're saying right here. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but they're saying this, only to find out, like, no, you weren't even close. But it happens. It happens to the best of us.
I will say, though, as a vocalist, right, Mark? Yeah. Have you ever not had the lyrics right when you did a performance of a cover song? And then realized it later, like, oh, fuck.
I mean, I've definitely switched lines from verses before, like unintentionally.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I sang a line and singing the first verse and realizing probably midway through, like, oh shit, this belongs in verse 2, not here. Oh
yeah, okay. Yeah.
I guess so. But now that I've recognized it, I'll just the line that I missed, I'll just sub in back there, even though it won't rhyme. It won't fit the theme of the verse, because like I've got it mixed up. I've definitely done that before. Yeah.
My mom did it. She had a band in the I guess it was the 80s or whatever, and they used to do Hotel California. So my mom would sing Hotel California. And back then you didn't have the internet, you couldn't pull the lyrics, right? So you literally listened to the record and wrote the lyrics down and then figure them out. So there's a dog on the highway, cool wind in my hair was what she sang at so many performances, and I'm like,
Did you just sing what I thought you sang?
And then I actually, I take the Hotel California album, open it up, pull out the lyric sleeve, Mom.
Yeah. It's like right here.
Oh
right here.
my.
It's like,
Oh my.
there's no dog at all.
There's no dog at all. Yeah.
There was never a dog.
No. Ryan Powell is calling out one of the more famous misheard lyrics. Excuse me while I kiss this guy from Purple Haze. Jeff Brewer has another one from CCR. There's a bathroom on the right. One of my favorite of all time was from the movie Grease. I got chills, they're multiplying. Misheard as I've got shoes, they're made of plywood. I always thought that was a pretty good line.
Plywood.
I would have plenty wood, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
That would have made it so much funnier.
Now I'm just sitting here listening to Sean talk about his mom, wondering, I wonder if she ever covered Snowbird by Anne Murray.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You're welcome. Welcome to the origin or the origin episode 0 of the Anne Murray podcast. That's the next one.
Fuck Anne Murray. Yeah.
Maybe that's what we'll title the episode.
Fuck Anne Murray. There you go.
Fuck Anne Murray.
It won't be shown on any streaming platforms.
Never. What say we finish this one out?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're doing Van Halen. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Gonna make you more tan. Love it.
How about Dirty Deeds Dunder Chief? I never heard that one before.
Dunder Chief. Actually, that one sounds about right.
It does sound right. Josh has We Built This City on Sausage Rolls.
Nice.
That just sounds like a Weird Al song, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, nothing wrong with
No, that's Can't Stop Loving You from Balance, the Van Halen Hagar era. I refuse to call it Van Hagar. That's stupid. No, we're not doing that. There it is. Ryan says, great how Mike resolves that suspension on bass at the very end. Perfection. Yep. Yes.
Great point.
A lot of,
Yep.
Again, like I love that sort of like kind of heartbeat sort of rhythm pattern that that's what it sounds like, at least to me, that Mikey's doing. And yes, like right at the end, it's like, okay, we're not flatlining here. We're soaring out into the ether because we will never stop loving you. It's a very, very cool little, maybe simple pop song, but hey, look, less is more sometimes. Wrapped up like, I think that right there is
that's probably the biggest
wrapped up like a douche.
Gotta be.
Blinded
We're
by the
getting
light.
a ton of misheard lyrics here. My favorite, one of my favorite is See That Girl, Watch Her Scream, Kicking the Dancing Queen from Dancing Queen by ABBA.
Kicking the Dancing Queen. Ugh, don't get me started on ABBA. No,
Hey, I was on an ABBA kick today all day long. All day
I'm
long.
sorry.
Really?
That must have been a
awesome.
weird day. Yeah, it was awesome. Okay.
No, dude, it was the album Super Trooper, which the production value is very similar to Balance. I don't know.
I guess I'm gonna have to just do like a serious deep dive on ABBA because I am one of the only people in the world that I have come across that has everyone seems to love ABBA, and I just go like, I'm not understanding. What am I missing here?
For me, it's that album because that album is actually. Wait a minute, CMPU, ABBA.
Oh,
It's coming.
Right there. I'll save the
Let's do it.
comments for that.
There it is. Yes, save it for the ABBA show.
Sean and I are starting that podcast now. Yeah.
There we go. Let's do it. I'm in. I would
Corey is just gonna
I would do
cease
it.
to be a
Why
person.
not?
He's just going to be like this collective of like digital space and just like taking over.
Honestly, though, I would listen to an ABBA podcast if it wasn't just fans, but like musicians or songwriters critiquing it and looking at it. Like, it's fucking awesome because I don't know.
I need
There-
more
there's-
perspectives here. Yeah.
Yeah, they're such well constructed pop songs that it's hard to knock them for it because they're just created so well.
I
I
respect them.
actually-
That's true because like everyone loves them, but I don't love them. So I'm trying to understand what it is about them specifically that everyone is so positive on. I guess I just dig the tunes. Simple as that.
Well, I actually took a songwriting class because I wanted to better my craft, and we had to analyze an ABBA song. We had to analyze a Lionel Richie song, and I'm like, oh man. But when you actually break a song down in its components and the ABBA scheme or the ABAB or ABC AB or whatever, like, and you actually look at how the song is put together, it's like, God damn it. It's actually a good song, you know?
They
so
know
I
what
like
they're
one
doing.
line Richie song
Absolutely,
now.
Yeah. They are competent musicians, but be on the lookout for ABBA talk later on the CMP.
Chaz,
but before we get to that,
Chaz needs 2 more podcasts to catch up with Corey, isn't it, or something?
That's
like
right.
That?
Yep.
So
The Anne-Marie Bangcast. Yeah.
there you go, Chaz. But before you get your head in the clouds with ABBA and singing and talking about Dancing Queens, we got to talk about Can't Stop Loving You and how we felt about it. Sean, you are honorary guest, honorary host of the show, honestly, because you've been with us for so long. So with you being in the guest spot tonight, we start with you. Was Can't Stop Loving You what dreams are made of, or is the dream over?
I'm not usually one for pandering pablum sort of ballad sort of stuff, but there's enough tasty things in here for someone who's not a huge fan of ballads to dig into. Alex, we talked about to death. The little things that Eddie's doing is great. The harmonies are good, and even Sammy's lyrics, yeah, they're a bit like they're a bit soft in terms of lovey-dovey, but they're still actually really well constructed. So I can't downvote it.
Fair enough. There it is. Sometimes the simple answer is the right one. So Corey, what say you? Would you agree with Sean on this, and would you say that Can't Stop Loving You is what dreams are made of, or is the dream over?
Ryan Powell said it better than I ever could. Can't Stop Loving You is absolutely the category of perfect pop rock. And I agree with them. Musically, it's fantastic. It's incredibly well constructed for a pop ballad. Is it a little cookie cutter? Sure. But it's on the top end of that. It kind of elevates itself, like Sean said, with some little musical flourishes they throw in there, the nice harmonies, the perfect production on this song. A lot of comments in the chat, like it's stock, it's a little cookie cutter, it's a little basic, sure, but to me it's on the upper echelon of that. I've always loved Can't Stop Loving You, even when I thought it was about Helen Reddy for a brief moment there. So it's just a well-constructed pop ballad, and there's nothing wrong with that. So for me, it's absolutely what dreams are made of. But Mark Meyer, geez, I don't know if you're a big ballad fan or not. I'm kind of wavering back and forth if you're going to like this one or not. So the question is this what dreams are made of, or is the dream over?
I hate ballads, but I'll shell it out for anything Hagar related. No, I'm kidding. I love ballads. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I've been itching for the Hagar ballads. Nostalgia is a powerful thing, and I would be absolutely lying to everybody if I said that my nostalgia connection with this song didn't have any influence, because that would be a lie. It does. I mentioned earlier, I alluded to the fact that it reminds me of the Pretender song. We've discussed, it's like, well, Eddie was a fan. Eddie's jammed with Christie, so chances are maybe even on a subconscious level that there was some influence there. But that reminds me of my dad, and my dad, Van Halen reminds me of Dad anyway. So childhood stuff like that, and those are powerful things. And if they hold on to you and latch onto you for the remainder of your adult years, that means that you haven't lost that inner child, which means you're not a bitter old fuck just yet. So I'm well on my way, but I'm not there just yet. So that alone is why I would upvote it. But as you guys all said, this is just a perfect pop rock song. It really is. And I'm usually not one for, like Sean said, I'm usually not one for the pop rock stuff, especially modern pop rock. I think it's gross. But if you're Van Halen and you can pull off cookie cutter pop rock and still be taken, like not lose any street cred, if we want to call it that, there's very few bands that can pull that off so flawlessly. Van Halen is definitely one of them. And at this point in their careers, they earned it. They earned whatever they could do. It doesn't matter. I mean, even we've said bad things about a particular album that they recorded, but even in those songs that we didn't necessarily like, they had every right to make those songs because they earned it. It was like, we're gonna perform it, we're gonna write it this way, the structure's gonna sound like this. Eddie did How Many Say I with so much passion. We did not like that song, but damn it, gotta give him all the props in the world, because like well, you earned your spot in writing the song however you want. So if that's the way it's supposed to sound to you, that's the way it's going to sound. Can't Stop Loving You. I don't know if the guys went into this thing consciously thinking, okay, this is going to be the pop song. I know you mentioned Bruce had said, can you make make it a little pop friendly, and Eddie just went into rewrite mode. So maybe that did have something to do with it. It's like, oh, you want a pop song? Okay, here you go. Here's a good pop rock song, by the numbers, and by God, it works. And that's a credit to the genius of the musicians, because they're not just playing simple notes here. They're not just playing the basic minimal. They're doing a lot. It doesn't sound like a lot to the untrained ear because that's how good they make it sound. So, and maybe that's the ABBA effect. I don't know. I'll have to check back in on the ABBA.
ABBA's the same thing. There's like these little things going on in there that you gotta.
Yeah.
So,
all right,
Jeff says Taylor Swift could sing a song like this, and I agree. Taylor Swift could sing a song like this. The only problem is the production quality of that would overproduce, and it would just sound like dumb bullshit. But that
it would be drum machine.
Yeah.
It would be drum machine.
Yeah,
it would take out all the flourishes.
Yeah. Speaking of things that suck,
mine.
Chaz says he's comparing it to the masterpiece Spanked, which I would take Can't Stop Loving You 10 times out of 10 over Spanked. Jesus fuck.
Oh, that's going to be a fun time, but it's all in due time when we get to that one. Yeah, Ryan said exactly. The word pop is simply short for popular. That is true. It means that people like it. I'm just a normal jerk who happens to make music. As long as my brain and fingers work, I'm cool. That's a quote from Eddie. And that's absolutely true. That's what pop stands for. I mean, it has become something else, I think. But yeah, pop just means popular. So if it's popular, it's pop. Even a metal band is like, if it's popular metal, hey, guess what? It's pop. We don't like to think of it that way because pop is a dirty word, but that's what it was, and that's technically what it still is. So always remember that if it's popular, doesn't mean you don't have to like it. There's a band taking the world by storm in the last couple of years called Sleep Token, and the more popular they get, the more impossible it is to get tickets. And am I a little bitter about that? Yes, a little bit, but I can't blame the band for being popular because they're good. What are you gonna do? That's like, if I was mad about it, I'd want them to quit, and then if they quit, then I got nothing, right?
I have a sore spot with that Sleep Token thing.
Yeah, sore spot.
We got roasted for when we played it on our show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who roasted you?
Everyone that didn't like our opinion of the song.
Oh.
Go back and listen to Metal Shop Day 5.
Do that. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go back and yeah. There you go. So I mean, you were gonna get the plugs regardless, but there you go. Let's throw in some ahead of time anyway. But yeah, no, I'm gonna go back and check that show out because I'm curious.
It's going to
but
in episode 6 of Metal Shop. Trust me.
Well then, Metal Shop, and on my way to the Metal Shop, let me stop into this game show that Corey likes to play called Mark Isn't Good at Guessing.
Although I got to say, on the I won't spoil it. I didn't do well the last time I played this game in a podcast. That's all I'll say. But Mark, you've actually won the last few. Let's see how you do tonight. It's time to play. How many times have Van Halen performed Can't Stop Loving You? Because you're the reigning champion. Let's go with you first. How many times do you think Van Halen performed this particular song?
75 times.
75 times. All right, Sean McGinnity, we come to you now. How many times did Van Halen perform Can't Stop Loving You live in concert?
I think they played it on. Well, they played it on the Balance tour. They probably played it at most of the shows. They probably also played it during the reunion with Sammy tour. I'm thinking maybe half the shows there. So I'm gonna go with. You said what was your number, Kamar?
75.
75. I'm going to go 122.
75 and 122? Well, we have a winner, and his name is Mark Kammeyer. The correct answer is 100 times.
Oh!
So Sean went over.
100.
So, Sean, this is for you.
But you went over less, but I guess the rule is if you go over, it's bad. But nevertheless, though, that's cool.
Brian guessed 124.
Times,
yeah. And you know what? Only played on the Balance tour, so they didn't even break it out on the 04 tour, which is kind of surprising.
But that was like one of their. That was like the hit off the album, was it not?
It was. Yeah. Now it wasn't a big hit off the album. It was their last top 40 single, though. It peaked at number 30.
Well, I mean, sometimes it happens, and we have to remember at this point, Van Halen had a pretty extensive catalog even then. So, you know, you have to make room for the hits, and if you don't, I know a lot of bands don't like to do that. Like, they'll pull a Billy Corgan where it's just like, nope, only playing the new stuff. Sorry, not playing old pumpkins. Like, well, that's stupid, and you're stupid. Don't do that. And he has since gone back on doing that. So it's like, yeah, you learn your lesson real quick because nobody wants to come see you play that new album. That new album's not good. But anyway, I digress. Some bands are like that. And I guess with Van Halen, you have to, pardon the pun, balance it out with the hits that you have to play. And then, if you're going to tour on a new album, it's like, well, we'd like to play the songs that we just wrote, for all of you guys. So, make some room. But again, it's all about balance.
If he could roll like Elvis in the
Speaking of balance,
If they could roll like Halen, just
That's right.
fucking chimney
no, just stop it.
trees.
On that note,
Whenever Mark pontificates, I'm just going to start breaking out that song, just like as a cue.
great. Yeah.
You're ranting like a maniac.
I'm curious.
You're ranting like a maniac. Yeah, I know.
Corey, are you able to bring up Hammerhead Shark? Because I got to see if Kammeyer has a problem with that song too.
You know what?
It
Old
is
habits die
almost
hard. I
identical.
can't not rant.
It's off a
That's
little
a good
in
call.
enough. It's which is a cover, I think.
Hammerhead.
Let's play a little bit. This is really an underrated album too. I love Little Ain't Enough.
Time of trouble,
Right.
a time of greed. Things lay horse, big bad things. Did the world was wicked and their hearts were cold. Noah said to his missus, well, it's time to go. Lord said to Noah, before you float that arm, you better save me in space for my hammerhead shark.
So yeah, I can see the comparison.
The pentameter of the singing is
Yeah.
similar-ish.
Yep.
Is that a better song, Mark? Which one's better?
Oh yeah, like definitely better than the shit Corey was playing about the chimps and how Elvis died and shit and whatever.
Jason Becker versus John Five. That was Jason Becker on guitar on that one, I believe. In
Well, okay, but in fairness to John Five, that shit that killed Elvis is not a good representation of his skills as a guitarist. Let me just say.
no. But
Nor
that's
is his
again,
time in
anything.
The acoustic version is better of the shit that killed Elvis. So
which okay, I'll take your word for it. But
You know,
wanna hear
John
it?
Five.
no, I don't.
okay,
You already
John-
played it. We heard a little bit. Yeah.
John Five used to play for Katie Lang. That was one of his early gigs, right?
Yeah.
really? Oh, I didn't know that.
His
Katie
Canadian
Lang and
connection.
Marilyn Manson. Hilarious.
I think it was Katie Lang and then Marilyn Manson in that order, I believe.
I'm pretty sure it was just based on the time of Katie Lang's popularity to when he started showing up with Manson. So yeah, it's like the timeline adds up to that. Unless by some weird twist of fate, he did his stint in Manson, went back to Katie Lang, but I don't think that's the case. Michael said,
Here's kind of a hot take.
Whoa, that is a hot take.
with the earlier comparison to Finish What You Started, I would rather listen to Can't Stop Loving You.
Interesting.
I mean, that's fair, but you know, why is everyone so down on that song? Like, why does no one like Finish What You Started? I don't get it. I really don't.
If you're a drummer, you might hate the song because it's fucking hard to play.
That's true. Yeah.
If you're a musician trying to play most of Van Halen's repertoire, you hate it because they're hard to play. So, I mean, what are we doing? But I don't know. But I've noticed that people were not into Finish What You Started and continue to not be into that song.
Although,
I don't understand it. I think it's a great one.
Poll results contradict that because right now, Finish What You Started is the second highest ranked song off OU812 at 82.7% What Dreams Are Made Of. Second only to Cabo Wabo, which is 85.1% What Dreams Are Made Of.
Right. I just remember seeing a lot of chatter of people not into Finish What You Started, and I just didn't understand that. But nevertheless, the polls speak for themselves.
Yeah, Ryan even agrees with them that he would take Can't Stop Loving You over Finish What You Started. So
I'd have to really take a step back and see which one I prefer, because I think I love them both pretty equally.
I think you got to hear the remastered version.
Yeah, that's a good call. But but until that time, you guys, we've done it. Another one is off the wheel. Another just one step closer to the journey to the end. But we're not there yet. We still got quite a few, and not to mention we've got live shows to do because we got to finish albums. So be on the lookout for all of that. Stay with us. We're not done yet. Sean McGinnity, our honored guest, our honoree panelist, back on the show, man. We always love having you. We always love talking music with you and talking Van Halen with you. Always a pleasure. So please let the people know where they can find you and what you got going on, dude.
Before we do that, there's going to be a Chazolytic on the amount of times I've been on the show with and without Todd. And every time I've been on the show without Todd, it got an upvote. And every time I was on the show with Todd, we both gave down votes.
Oh, so there's a correlation. You think Todd's the bad influencer?
Perhaps. I don't know, maybe.
Those sweet, dark, dulcet tones are influencing our mind. Like,
I think so.
Like, got to downvote everything.
You don't like Sammy Hagar. He's not sexy like me.
What do you think? I wonder how Todd would have voted on this one. You know him, you're his brother. How do you think
he would have voted? He would have downvoted for sure.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
not a ballad.
Yeah. If it ain't Bryan Adams, I'm not in. That's the way Todd works.
Jesus Christ!
Hey, nothing wrong with Bryan Adams, sir.
No, Todd's a massive Bryan Adams fan.
Musically, no. He had some weird comments in 2020 that I don't want to bring up, but it's
I didn't even. I wasn't aware of it.
But I'm not. Look, I wouldn't dare slander Bryan Adams amidst some fine Canadians like yourselves. So I won't do that. But let me tell you about this Corey Hart motherfucker. No, I'm kidding. I love Corey Hart. But that's it. So Sean, where can people find you?
You can find me at SeanMcGinnity.ca. That's SeanMcGinnity.ca. Or all social media at SeanGeek Podcast. Everywhere. I'm even that Blue Sky thing.
Nice.
Blue Sky.
We're not on there. Get on that, Kamar.
Nope.
Come on.
It's hard to get on.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. I had to get a lot of recommendations to get on.
Wow.
Oh, so it's like an exclusive club.
Yes, it is.
Oh, we'll never get in then. Yeah,
we'll never get in. No, they won't let me in there. You kidding me? Like,
it's
Corey,
Twitter. It's Twitter.
I need you to take over all the podcasts, and then they'll have no choice because you'll be like, "No, I own you. You let him in."
But thanks for having me on, Galacticus.
Oh, our pleasure. Anytime you want to come on, you're always welcome, my friend. We've both been guests on your show a couple different times. I got to talk Marvel with you. I got to talk Canadian music with you. It was a hell of a lot of fun. So,
and I do want Corey back on for sure. But I want Kamira on for an episode of Metal Shop. I think that'd be fun.
Yes. Oh, he'd be right up that alley.
Sure,
absolutely. Man. Yeah.
You could be.
It's been a while since I've graced your podcasting world for a bit. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely.
We'll set you both up maybe in December after I'm done writing a fucking book.
That's right.
Finish a book in a month.
Yeah, 30 days, 50,000 words. It's like novella size, but
oh wow.
No problem. Just
no big whoop. Yeah.
Wish I had that
another
work
book.
ethic. I'd have written 10 books at this point. Jesus. Ugh, no.
She fell through the
Yeah.
roof. The Christy Brinkley story.
Through the damn ceiling, man. Oh, God.
Movie of the
I
week
just-
right there.
and how she didn't break her neck or break anything whatsoever is beyond me. But
Did
we'll
she
just-
hit the tub, or did she just miss the tub?
her ankle hit a towel rack,
Ooh.
and then I think no, she hurt her legs because she landed hard, and then the towel rack. But no, she somehow missed the tub as well.
Wow.
She literally fell through
Yeah.
this perfect hole, right, like straight down, and didn't move and didn't like flail about. She didn't have time to do that. So that's, I think, what ultimately saved the brakes, because she landed
good.
hard.
So no
But,
broken
yeah.
anything, huh?
No fractures, no broken, just bad bruising, and she's still feeling it 2 weeks later. So
Well, not today.
Yeah.
She's stoned out of her gourd right now. So
it helps alleviate the pain. But hey, you know
yeah.
what? It's medicinal purposes. So, get on it. We advocate it. You know what? Also, we advocate? We advocate for good podcasting. We are part of a grand, fantastic collective known as the Deep Dive Podcasting Network. We've been a part of this network for a while now, and we love it. We've been introduced to people like Sean and all of the like-minded individuals that enjoy the music that we enjoy talking about. It's been great. We love it. Corey, if you would do me a favor, if you would be so bold as to give the people a rundown of what they can expect from the Deep Dive Podcasting Network.
I will try. I did it on Rush Rash tonight, and I kind of butchered it. So I'll try and do it a little better here.
You got it. That was just
All right. Yeah, that was the warm up. Absolutely, good call.
Yeah.
All right, we have. Thank you. We have myself and Scott Haskin doing a little show called Backtracks Aerosmith Revisited. Of course, myself and John on occasion do a show called Backtracks Theme Music. A little on a hiatus right now. We'll see if we pick that up again, hopefully sometime soon. Myself and Kevin Brown do a show called The Ultimate Catalog Clash. We're just about to wrap up season 1 and Phil Collins' Genesis. Check out season 2, Guns N' Roses, so we can hear Kevin's unfiltered thoughts on November Rain. That'll be coming up soon. Kevin also does a show called The Tom Petty Project. He just eclipsed 50,000 downloads, so congratulations to him. That's a fantastic show. He also does a show with the cranky Randy Woods at Seaside Pod Review. Then we have Scott Haskin at Uriah Heep, The Magicians Podcast, Nate and John at the Deep Purple Podcast, The Simple Man at Skinnerd Reconsidered, Terry T-Bone Mathley at T-Bone's Prime Cuts on the Other Side, Rye at Sabbath Bloody Podcast, Paul, Joe, and David at In the Lap of the Pods, Andy and Matt at Hawk Binge, Eric and Jonathan at Maiden A to Z, Daniel and Josh at Diary of the Madman, the Ultimate Aussie Podcast, Ben and Sam at Universally Speaking, the Red Hot Chili Peppers Podcast, George and Hattie at the Judas Priest Cast, Clay and Ryan North by South Podcast, Greg and Jonathan at So Far, So Pod, So What, Quinn at And Volume for All, Sav, Nick, Steve, and Mark at the Rock Roulette Podcast, Chaz and Greg at Regarding Lulu. That one's wrapped up. You can catch Chaz and Wolfie at Regarding Roger. That's Roger Waters for all you paying attention. And Chaz and Shats at Rush Rash, which I just guested on tonight. Had a hell of a lot of fun. We spun a really cool tune. So please go check that out, and check out our friends like Sean McGinnity at the SeanGeek FastFret Podcast, You're All Doomed, Friday the 13th Podcast, the DLR Cast, the Bogus Otis Show, Pod of Thunder, the recognized symbol of excellence in rock and roll podcasting, Booked on Rock with the legendary Eric Senich, Dissect That Film, and Three's Company 2, a rewatch podcast.
Woo. See, look at that. You nailed it. Absolutely. And you're all doomed indeed, because Corey will devour every one of the shows to make it part of his collective of the CMPU. It's only a matter of time, because 1 podcast wasn't enough, and 5, that's still not enough. So
That's right. Be on the lookout for Gimme, 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 a Pod After Midnight with one Sean McGinnity, breaking down the ABBA catalog. One track
there it
at a
is.
time.
So yeah, you've said it, you've manifested it. There it is. It will come to fruition.
Podcasting queen. Yeah, come on, everybody.
Yeah, there it goes.
Eric's going to fight to be on that one, guaranteed.
You think so?
Probably so.
Yeah.
Probably
Are you kidding
so.
me?
And you can find You can find all the shows going on, including our Facebook, our Twitter, backlogged episodes, all on podcastwillrock.com. Our merch store. Find yourself some merch. We've got some good ideas for new merch during this show, and that's sometimes how it happens. Thanks to
work,
Kevin Brown. Yeah,
Yep.
Kevin Brown for the awesome designs. It's always a fun time. Seriously, you guys. When I say I want an army of people out there wearing apologies to Gary shirts. Like, I really mean that. I really want all of you wearing it. I want him to see, and I want him to be just very confused as to
is Extreme playing in your neck of the woods anytime soon?
That's a great question. I will check on that. Hopefully, I feel like they haven't been here yet. If they are coming, because I would have heard, but I don't know. I will check that. Oh, yes, I'll check that out with you.
They're currently in Europe, and then in January 2024, they're coming back to America. I see Ohio, I see Virginia, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Dallas, Texas, Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas. Are any of those close enough for you there?
No.
None of those.
No.
Yeah. Maybe
Missouri or Atlanta, but
yeah, no Tennessee, unfortunately, that I'm seeing here. So
yeah, well. De la vie. Then the next time they do
I would if they came here, I would go see them for sure, and then I would make sure I had that shirt on. If
they somehow show up, because I mean they could always add dates if the tour is going well, or if they just feel like it. So if they end up in Nashville, I will make sure and make that happen, and we'll go from there. I'll document it all.
To record it while you were there. Like I
know. It's like I may have maybe Christy or maybe a friend of mine is like, hey, make sure you record whatever happens that's happened. So it could either go really well or really bad. I don't know. You guys will stay tuned for that. But like I said, podcastwillrock.com. We got all of the episodes there, all of our social medias, including our Twitter and our Facebook, backlogged episodes. Do me a favor, you guys. Share the show. Tell people about it. I'm sure you got friends that love Van Halen as much as you do. Tell them, like, hey, you should check out this show. These guys really love talking about them. Are they experts? No. Make sure you tell your friends, like, they're not experts, they're just simple fans, but I get a kick out of listening to them. Maybe you will too, or somebody will. If nothing else, they can just join us in the ride as we listen to cool Van Halen songs. So do that for us. Would you give us a rate, a like, share all the things that you're supposed to do for podcasts to help us grow, help us keep going, because the show might be winding down, but we're still going and we're going to keep going. And you know how we do that? We have a Patreon. So I'm going to run down the list of our honored patrons, the guys that are really helping us to keep going, starting with Davey Lee Smith, Michael T, our new patron. Thank you, Michael. Brad Gould, Janice Risco, Heath McCoy, Scott Everett, Tom Armbruster, Ben Andriozzi, Jeff Brewer, Ryan Powell, Scott Monroe, Per Lineker, Kevin Brown, Meet the Geeks. That's Sean McGinnity. He's on the show. Chaz Charles, Michael Griffith, Greg Zito, Josh Caldwell, Ravo Flav, Nate from the Deep Purple Podcast, and Matt Lacoste. Thank you guys so much for keeping us going. As always, man, it's always a pleasure. And keep the conversation going. Join the Patreon. Get on the Discord. Join the conversations, because it's always entertaining, no matter what. So on behalf of our guest, Sean, on behalf of Corey and myself, and you can find me at Mark the Bat on Twitter, CD Morissette as well. There you go. We got to plug our Twitters. So Twitter, X, or whatever it is. So hope you had fun. We always have fun. On behalf of these guys and myself, we are, and the podcast will rock, and we will rock you later.